Hey, I'm really glad you're here. If this is your first time on the channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button and share this video with someone who loves a good story. It helps more than you know and makes a big difference in keeping the channel going. And while you're here, drop a comment and let me know where you're watching from. Your city, your country, anywhere in the world. I always love seeing how far these stories reach. Now let's jump in. A thick layer of gray clouds hung over the modest college town of Grayson, Texas. Rain streaked down the windows of coffee shops and classrooms, casting ripples across the streets. Caleb Morgan, 23, pulled his hood tighter as he walked briskly through the downpour. His shoes were soaked, and his backpack hung heavy with casebooks and a half-eaten sandwich. He was in his final year of law school, juggling lectures, a part-time job at a bookstore, and suffocating debts inherited from his late father's failed construction company. His phone buzzed. "Caleb Morgan," he answered, expecting it to be his younger sister calling about her upcoming tuition deadline. But the voice on the other end was calm, elegant, and completely unfamiliar. "Mr. Morgan, this is Vivian Ashcroft. I'd like to meet with you. It's regarding your financial situation." Caleb frowned. "I'm sorry, who are you? How do you know?" "I know enough," she interrupted smoothly. "Meet me at Ashcroft's on 5th, 7 p.m. sharp. This is important." Before he could ask anything else, the line went dead. Ashcroft's cafe was upscale, quiet, the kind of place where every spoon clinked softly and the espresso cost more than a textbook. Caleb entered, dripping wet and feeling wildly out of place. Near the corner, seated beneath a crystal chandelier, was Vivian. She was striking. Late 70s, perhaps, but carried herself with grace and command. Her silver hair was swept into a classic twist, her navy blue pantsuit tailored perfectly to her frame. She sipped from a porcelain teacup, eyes already fixed on him. "Mr. Morgan," she greeted. "Sit," he did cautiously. "So, what's this about? You're intelligent. Let's not pretend. I know about your debt. I know about your mother's medical bills. And I know about your sister's looming tuition. I'm offering you a solution." Caleb tensed. "What kind of solution?" Vivian leaned in, her voice cool and even. "Marry me." He blinked. I'm sorry. You heard me. A business arrangement. Nothing romantic. In return, I'll pay off all your debts, cover your mother's care, and fund your sister's education. You'll live comfortably. I need a husband for legal and social reasons. Someone young, presentable, and desperate enough not to ask too many questions. Caleb laughed in disbelief. "Why me? You're unattached, smart, and unlike most, you understand the value of sacrifice." Her eyes narrowed. "Think of it as a legal contract, not a fairy tale." That night, Caleb sat at the kitchen table with his mother, explaining Vivian's offer. The tiny apartment smelled faintly of old tea bags and heating pads. His mother's hands trembled as she reached for his. "I know this sounds insane," she said softly. "But if she's willing to help, maybe it's worth considering. I'm not asking you to fall in love. I'm asking you to survive." A week later, in a quiet civil courthouse, Caleb stood beside Vivian. She wore a sapphire blue dress. He wore a borrowed suit. The ceremony was brief, only the officiant and Vivian's lawyer as witnesses. "Welcome to your new life, Mr. Morgan," she said as they stepped outside into the rain. Her smile didn't reach her eyes. Vivian's estate, Ashcroft Manor, was massive. Stone columns, marble floors, and silent halls filled with antique portraits. Caleb's room was beautiful but cold. A king-sized bed, a mahogany desk, and windows that stretched to the ceiling. Everything looked expensive. Everything felt untouched. Dinner that night was served by silent staff. Vivian sat at the other end of the long table, slicing into filet mignon like a surgeon. "You didn't mention your late husband," Caleb ventured. Vivian paused. "He was involved in business. Our paths crossed with your father's. Not all dealings end well." Over the following days, Caleb noticed strange things. The staff avoided eye contact. Conversations hushed when he entered rooms. "Why him?" he overheard once. "She always has a reason," another whispered. They never last long. One evening, he stumbled upon a small, ornate key on Vivian's library desk. The curiosity was too strong. That night, when the mansion was dark and still, he crept to one of the locked doors he'd passed before. Inside was a time capsule. Dust-covered furniture, old photographs, documents, legal contracts and letters, spread across a desk. He scanned them quickly. The documents detailed a failed investment deal. Vivian's late husband, Richard Ashcroft, had partnered with Caleb's father, Derek Morgan. The deal went south. Richard lost everything. A letter in Vivian's sharp, slanted handwriting read, "You ruined my family. My husband died chasing what you stole. You left us with nothing." Then Caleb saw something that chilled him. A marriage certificate with his name and Vivian's, dated weeks before their actual wedding. Next to it, a worn leather-bound journal. "Vivian's. He will be my pawn. I will take everything from the Morgan family, just as Derek took everything from me." Floorboard creaked. Caleb turned. Vivian stood in the doorway, her silhouette cold against the dim light. "Enjoying yourself." He swallowed. "You lied to me." "I gave you exactly what you needed," she said quietly. "Don't pretend you're a victim." "This isn't a marriage," Caleb hissed. "It's revenge." Her eyes flashed. "You want to talk about revenge? Your father killed my husband. This is justice." Later, Caleb confronted Mr. Whitmore, the aging butler. "Why are you still here?" Caleb asked. The man looked away, his voice heavy. "Some debts are too deep to escape. I've seen others like you. You're not the first. Just be careful." Caleb contacted Peter Langston, his closest friend and fellow law student. Together they began collecting evidence: Vivian's letters, shady financial files, and her involvement in questionable business practices. Peter's voice was grave. "This isn't just fraud, Caleb. This is a vendetta wrapped in legality. We have to stop her." The confrontation came on a rainy morning in the estate's drawing room. "I know everything," Caleb said, placing the folder on the table. "About my father. About Richard. About what you've done." Vivian stood rigid, her hands trembling slightly. "You know nothing. I know enough to bury you legally. You've ruined lives in the name of revenge." Her facade cracked. "Your father ruined me. My husband died trying to fix what Derek destroyed. I didn't do that. You chose me because I was convenient." For a moment her mask dropped. "I didn't expect to care. But you're like him, your fire, your pride. Maybe that's why this hurts." Police sirens echoed outside. "Vivian Ashcroft." An officer called from the door. "You're under arrest for conspiracy and financial fraud." She turned to Caleb, eyes hollow. "You may think you've won. But revenge doesn't disappear, Caleb. It festers." Vivian's trial was swift. Caleb testified. The evidence was overwhelming. Weeks later, he returned to the mansion one last time. The estate lawyer handed him a sealed envelope. Inside, Vivian's handwritten note. "It was never about money, Caleb. It was about closure. I see now I lost more than Richard that day. I lost my soul chasing ghosts. I hope you do better." She left the estate to him. Caleb sold it. He used the funds to pay off every family debt, cover his mother's care, and establish a scholarship in Richard Ashcroft's name, a way to acknowledge the man lost in the shadow of both vengeance and betrayal. He returned to law school, not just as a student, but as a man who had survived a twisted web of guilt, loss, and manipulation. Vivian had used him to settle a score. But Caleb had turned it into a future, one she never expected.